there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bag that I got that's missing the 2 springs that I need.
Yeah, but like they'll send you just like a whole new one with all the stuff. So if you buy something secondhand and it's missing something, you can call and be like, "Oh yeah, it doesn't have a okay," and they'll just send you all new shit. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, my experience with these motherfuckers is that they just give you a full or partial refund, and then I have to do a bunch of extra legwork to finagle a bit into fitting something that it's not supposed to fucking fit.
Right? Because yeah.
Bastards. God damn it.
Because I'm sure that those springs that are missing were like top quality
like
premium steel hand milled
I
specifically.
know. Listen,
It's going to be really hard to replace them.
I don't need your sarcasm here. I'm just salty that I can't put this thing together the correct way. I understand that those springs can have substitute parts, and they will probably be better and higher quality.
But you shouldn't have to substitute parts out when you just bought the fucking thing.
I know, right? I get it. I didn't buy it at a fucking secondhand motherfucking... I wouldn't be confused if I bought it from some rinky-dink place and they were like, "Hey, idiot, you bought it from some rinky-dink." I bought it from a multi-million-dollar company, a multi-billion-dollar company. A company that has more fucking bits to it than most fucking countries. Where's Jeff Bezos to fucking blow me?
I think the saddest thing about this whole scenario is
that Jeff Bezos can fucking blow me?
No, I gotta make it about me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair. It is International Juniper's Day.
Go off, Queen.
Go off,
Can you hear me?
Queen.
Yeah.
Yes. But you're interrupting our liege and lady, Juniper Nest.
The sad thing about the whole scenario is that when you express some consternation that it was missing the parts, my immediate mental reaction was, well, of course.
Yeah, of course.
I no longer expect anything I purchase to actually be complete in any way.
That is, you know what? You're not wrong, Jim.
That's kind of sad.
They sent me 2 of the rinky-dink little fucking wrenches that barely fucking work, but none of the spring I need. So I got some bonus parts. Do you want a wrench that's literally worthless?
Yeah.
In being worthless, it is also, by default, priceless.
I think I have like 8 or 10 of them in like the drawer in my kitchen. So
are you saying that because it's priceless or worthless?
Yes.
Oh shit. I do not have 8 or 10 of them in the junk drawer in my kitchen.
Oh,
no, I would never.
Shit.
I would never keep them there. No one should try to break in and steal any little rinky-dink wrenches that I definitely do not have.
That are super priceless.
All I know is this, people.
In that they do not have a price attached to them.
All I know is this. A Beaky Bar, Dan Sarkar.
A Beaky Bar, Dan Sarkar.
That's right.
A Beaky Bar, Dan Sarkar.
Now more than ever.
Dan?
Yeah, this time Dan government. Let's go.
More Americans need to stand up for that.
Yeah. For me.
For a Beaky Bar.
For a Beaky Bar.
Dan. Sarkar.
You gotta
So what I'm hearing is you're a member of the Sardaukar.
A tiki bar banned
You're
the
hunting
Sardaukar?
Muad'Dib. You're hunting Muad'Dib. You are looking for the desert mouse.
A tricky Moor. Dan.
Oh boy. Wait a minute. might want to back up on that one just a hair.
A tricky Moor. Dan. Sidebar.
Dan, can speaking of sidebars, can I see you in the HR corner for a second here?
Yes. Now I talk like this forever.
Dan, I don't think we can say a tricky more on the show.
More, Dan.
No, I'm pretty sure that's the one that'll get us canceled. I'm pretty sure. That's a racial.
Okay.
Michael Jordan Peterson is going to cancel us.
Do you want me to try again?
I'm really concerned that you're about to say the most racist thing that you have said thus far.
Only one way
That's
to
what I'm
find
really
out.
concerned about.
Only one way to find
I'm
out.
only going to say yes because we're in the HR corner and we're definitely not being broadcasted live out into the universe. That is the only reason I'm about to say yes.
Reasonable. Okay.
So yes.
A tricky whore, Dan, salad bar.
Fuck. Okay,
that
so
one's
the
fine.
good news. Yeah, the good news, June, is it wasn't the most racist one yet.
Okay.
It was still bad, but it was not, in fact, the most racist one yet.
I'm wondering now, like, if you know what the racist part is. Is it the language I'm using, or is the fact that I'm speaking butchered Hindi as if because I'm trying to play on the people's loyalty to Modi?
I feel like both are bad.
Both are
Can
bad?
both be bad?
Yeah, both can be bad.
Is that an option?
Yeah.
A beaky boar?
Abby Kibar, Dan,
And
side whore.
you do not have to be a side whore. You can be someone's main whore.
Dan Cohen, bottom
And you will
bitch.
always be the bottom bitch.
Whatever, he's a communist. He's everybody's whore.
Yeah, everybody's bottom bitch.
I
By the
would
way,
definitely trust you to keep my girls in line.
Okay.
And the boys too.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Dan, Sarkar.
And they're like, a beaky boar.
And they're like, Abby Kibar, Dan, Sarkar.
Bitch, my Star Trek brings all the girls to the yard.
Yeah. I'll star your
And they're
trip.
like, I'm better than Picard. And I'm like, damn right, I'm better than Picard.
I can teach
Picard
you.
was an excellent captain.
Yeah,
I
Picard
can
was an
teach
excellent
you,
captain.
but you might Tasha Yar.
Tasha Yar? Who's Tasha
She's
Yar?
Yeah, the blonde chick.
But she got ate by the fucking... She fucked Data, dude.
Oh. I didn't watch Star Trek.
I also did not watch Star Trek. I'm gonna
was
have
she,
to come up with
was
an admission
she
here.
the engineer when the Irish guy went to the other ship?
I don't remember.
Because
LD?
it's one of those things when you watch something that's like, you know, in syndication from the get-go, the linearity of things kind of disappears.
Yeah.
That's not a word.
It is now.
It is
No
now.
words are real words.
By the way, I'm here.
Yes.
Everyone.
Hi.
Just so you know, we can start over from the beginning. All right, everyone, back to one. Say exactly what you said from the start, and then we'll pick up where we left. Okay, let's go.
Back to the racism. Okay.
A beaky bar, Dan, Sarkar.
I got accused of being racist against a white dude.
Sweet, you should be.
I was.
Good. They have it. They know what they did.
It was pretty funny. I'll
You just did. Was it like a Chinese dude doing it or like an Indian dude doing it? Because that would be really funny. Like, you are being racist to the white man, and it is very.
No,
very
it was a dumb white dude.
Oh,
Because that's who it always is.
That's less
is a
fun.
dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not as fun.
It's less fun.
Way less fun.
What?
You are being very, very racist to me. And I am white guy Bill.
Bill?
I am Bill.
Hello, I would like to.
My greatest Twitter interaction ever.
I believe it's called a twat.
Yeah.
Your greatest twat.
My greatest twit.
X gonna give it to ya.
Sorry,
This is
dropped my
racist.
phone. Kick me out. I'm back.
Sweet.
How dare you?
Because first I'm
Yeah.
gonna rock,
Tiki bar.
and then I'm gonna roll.
First I'm gonna rock, and then I'm going to roll. X gonna give it to you. Give it to you. That's how I'm talking
Wasn't that-
forever.
Wasn't that a Principal Skinner line?
A BT bar.
Is that rock and or roll? I hear.
Oh my God, they're listening to. No, that is not. Okay, no, I know where you're going with. Oh my God, it's rock and or roll. It's Reverend Lovejoy.
It's Lovejoy. Yeah, it's Reverend Lovejoy. You're right. I remembered it right away. God damn
Yeah.
it.
It took me a second. Oh man, I'm getting old. It took me a second to remember that classic bit with Iron
Butterfly.
Wait a minute.
In the
Hey.
Garden of Eden, baby.
Hey, that organist, she was rocking out though.
Fuck yeah, he was.
Gladys was on it. I bet you didn't know her name was Gladys, did you?
I didn't for the longest time. I didn't. Thank
Yeah.
you. You learn something new every day.
Dan is a wealth of useless knowledge. Y'all want
So
to
yeah,
learn about the monad? You want to learn about the monad?
Dan's your man.
Ass on Twitter, he proceeded to call me racist, and I said, you know,
Get wrecked, scrub.
I said, hold on, it's actually.
You're a broke
He's
bitch and no one likes you.
He's like, look at you, directly jump into making racist comments, bye. And I said, anytime, sugar, you come back when. Hold on. You want me to spank you again? Next time you'll have to pay. Only the first one is free.
There you
and
go.
he says, and then he was trying to he's a classist piece of shit, so he was trying to.
He's like, I am a filthy pay pig.
And
will
he's like,
pay to get spanked. That's what he said.
He said, don't you have a Pyxis you need to refill, which is a job that a pharmacy tech does. So he's being.
What the fuck's a Pyxis?
It's a.
Is that like
machine?
It's like
the
a pharmacy
magic
tech
machine.
pick me.
It's
Not
dude,
those
they're actually
Toyota
kinda
hybrid
cool.
cars.
Yeah.
You put in what you're looking for, and the drawer pops out magically, and like the little compartment opens.
Mm-hmm.
You are so.
They're pretty dope.
That is pretty dope.
I really am.
You
that
really
was one of the only cool things about working in a hospital.
Well, and then, but the thing that sucks about that is that shit busts. We would have to So what happens is sometimes they're called cubies and they break. So
I know.
What we'd have to do is go I would take my name badge, pop that motherfucker open, bust that shit out, give it to the nurse so that they could take it. Then I'd pop that whole thing out, put the drugs in a new one of those cubies and pop that shit back in. But anyways, he said, yes, he said, don't you have a Pyxis you need to refill? And I said, I'm sorry, your transaction was denied due to insufficient funds. If you would like me to spank you further, please enter your credit card information and hit reply.
So then he put in his credit card information because he's a filthy
then he started
pig.
asking me if I was a dominatrix and what my what my list of stuff I did was, and I'm not even kidding.
You oopsed him into horny, got it.
I did. I fucking he went horny on main quick, man.
Yeah, they always do.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what
gonna
that reminds me of?
after the attempted insults.
Yeah, exactly. Because because I
funny.
spanked him so fucking hard. He was trying to mar my Bill Burr, dude.
That was a pretty good video.
You know what? You know what that reminds me of? Did anyone ever watch Louis C.K.'s show?
Yes, not a bunch of it, but I've seen it.
Have a good night. Yeah.
There was
I love you too.
Well, not you guys, my kid.
Oh,
y'all are.
So you don't love us?
No,
Yeah, well,
that would be
fine.
weird.
Unlove you then.
Okay, thank you. That makes me feel.
I mean,
thank you for making
human,
it less
so
fair.
I love you guys. Just saying, I don't need to know you in depth to love you. I love my fellow human. I guess I'm just a better person than. Sorry. Anyway,
Yeah, that's fine. oh gosh, you said something that was true, and now my feelings are hurt.
It reminded me of that Louis episode where the woman confronts him outside of the Comedy Cellar about one of his jokes, and he lays into her, just who the fuck do you think you are? I'm trying to do this, blah blah blah, and she's standing there and taking it, and then he says something a little too far, a little too insulting to her, and she walks away angry, and one of the other comedians is if you'd have worked that right, you probably could have slept with her tonight. He's like, wait, really? So yeah. She was listening to you, although she didn't storm away right away. So
that sounds like
Classic
a Lulu.
negging technique.
Yeah, negging unlocked.
I think it's more
Do I
of
need to get on my negging tech?
I think it's more of telling her,
That's-
telling this woman who probably doesn't have people tell her to shut up, because she came off very like one of those I want to control every comedy club that I'm in.
I want to
And if it's
control the
not,
scenario in front of me.
yeah, the scenario, the content, everything.
I don't know if Louis should be doing that. Is all I'm gonna say.
It was prior to everything, so.
I don't know if that makes it better.
So that makes it fine.
Yeah.
No, it was just prior to everything coming out about it.
Yeah. Was
That's
it?
fair.
That's basically the same thing.
Is it?
No.
Look, I still listen to College Dropout from time to time, so I'm not gonna yuck anyone's yum.
Okay.
But no, but that also
Oh man, College
that
Dropout
reminds
is
me of
an all-time banger.
One of the controversies of, was it just today? It feels like it was months ago.
It was
Morgan
4 years ago.
Spurlock.
Yeah.
Rest in piss.
Was he shitty?
Yeah.
How
yeah,
was he shitty?
Well, he was.
Well, Super Size Me was a fucking lie.
Well, I was going to lead with the being
Yeah.
shitty to women,
Oh,
but
okay.
also the thing that made his career was, basically
Full on just a lie.
a big fat laundering of.
You're a phony.
Oscar nominated. But
Yeah,
LG
was
was
it,
noticing that there was some woman who was just like, I guess, hammering on posts that were commemorating his passing, like, non-meanly. And so this woman was apparently like getting in everybody's comments, and I was like, And so I go to click over and see what he's talking about, and it's somebody that I've already blocked before.
Good.
And I'm like, and I got excited for a minute because I was like, oh, this is going to be good. But like, and it took me a little bit to remember. And just like, apparently, I don't know, she's just a scold. I think she goes around and like scolds people. So it wasn't even like a fun person that I blocked. It was just like, oh, you're annoying and I don't want to see your content.
Gotcha.
It's a little disappointing. But the whole thing of like, was the terrible stuff happening before or after it was known about, and does that make a difference? I kind of do feel like it does.
So I'm not allowed to listen to College Dropout still. That's what I'm hearing.
Oh,
we're good. College Dropout still okay.
Yeah, if there's because comedy that's different than.
Can you separate the
fabricating
art from the
a documentary?
Yeah, for sure. I would
one of the things that.
If we could.
Oh yeah, me too. But one of the things that I was got into a lot of arguments about was people, especially when I was younger. People who immediately took documentaries as like just 100% truth and fact, and like even something like Blackfish, which is like an inherently good thing to get out there about the treatment of animals like that, is still extremely biased.
Dubious?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. But like, because of what the content was, people were just like dismissed any kind of, not fight, but any kind of negativity towards it whatsoever. Even just a little bit of what? I don't think that something sounds weird in that movie, in that documentary. I'm not sure what it is. Oh, so you're saying it's like people.
Some people seem to think that you're not allowed to criticize something if it's point is something
Trying
that
to
you would
help an
like
undervalued class.
to support. What
Yeah.
was that, Jane? What were
Helping
you
an
saying?
undervalued class.
Yeah,
You're not allowed
like
to criticize it because the animals can't help themselves. Well, something can be false and also hurtful.
Really now? I've never heard
Yeah.
any of this. What are you people on about?
like I personally
Well-
don't think it's useful to, support lying just if it would be nice if it were, accurate. But that's me. I
It's
know
like
I'm a little
there was-
weird.
You were on
There's
the
a
wrong show.
surprisingly there was a surprisingly good episode of Family Guy that was kind of touched on that, which was Chris was had this really big crush on this girl with Down syndrome, and the entire episode he just was infatuated with her. He just had a crush on her. There was nothing about her or Down syndrome that, from his point of view, made her different or bad or anything like
attractive.
that. The way that they approached it from his point of view was actually really good. And the thing that they did with her character is that she's just a dick. She's not a good person. And by the end of it, he's like, I can still call you not a good person, whether you have, Down syndrome or not. People of marginalized groups can still be assholes. It's like I got some pushback on Twitter today because I posted something about I've been seeing like the comments that femme presenting people have been leaving on like Renee Rapp and Chapel Rowan's comment sections all across social media, and it's like the stuff that it like think of like the grossest horniest thing that like a straight dude would leave on like God, what's her name, Kate Upton's photos from like the early 2010s.
Like
think of those kind of comments.
Calling type thing.
Yeah, like oh, I wouldn't mind if she bled in my mouth, or like really really foul things.
I don't see.
And it's just
I'm confused as to what the critique is here, but I'm gonna let it go to see if I figure it out.
The thing is that and the thing is like they think that it's okay because both Renee Rapp and Chapel Rowan are members of the queer community, and they might be as well, the people commenting. But it seems to me that the biggest catalyst for like this being quote unquote okay is that Renee and Chapel are femme presenting, and the commenters are femme presenting. So like, oh, it's okay, I can say it because I'm, we share the same gender expression, and they're queer, and I'm queer, and I'm not a straight man, so of course it's okay for me to say these awful, awful things in these comment sections.
Yeah, sure, why not? Fuck it. You can be a piece of shit all you want, because I'm a piece of shit to the right people.
I'll tell you what, like if you think that's brutal, the most fucked up thing I've ever read. I wish I could still find this paper because it's goddamn glorious. Okay. I found this paper. It's the only example of it I've ever found. So it literally, to me, it's an outlier, right? This proves the opposite is true because of how deep this outlier was, right? But there was a trans female academic who wrote a paper that essentially argued that under normal heteronormative relations, that if a woman does not want to engage in sex, a cis woman or a trans woman does not want to engage in sex, right, they should have the right of rejection, okay? Because otherwise would be a notion of violating consent. However, an overriding concern when it comes to the trans and non-binary communities is that they suffer an inordinate amount of rejection by cishet men and potential violence. So the resolution that prescribed, stop. Anybody can stop me if they think anyone's
no.
Cis
men are not allowed to say no.
Cis men should not be able to express a notion of consent and reject a trans person on the basis of the genitalia.
I knew it. Why?
Oh
Why
yeah.
did I know
Yeah.
it?
I've seen some trans creators kind of push stuff like that. In terms of it's pretty weird. It's pretty weird. I mean,
it's not a good look.
as this
wait, but hold on.
Make it weird. You just have
can
to
I
say
roll
yes.
this back a second?
Yeah.
Sure, why
What this
not?
woman, the crux of what this woman was saying was that cis men, we don't need consent from them.
Yes.
Right. Only if
I'm
you're
with
trans.
In fact-
I'm with it.
You have to be trans.
Oh, but why?
Yes.
Well, because the inordinate amount of abuse trans people suffer permits it. Now, again, I don't ever want to make it seem like every trans person thinks that they should just be able to rape whoever they want, because that is obviously not what is going on.
That's what I heard Dan say.
Yeah, that's kind of what I
No,
heard too.
he says that they can rape whoever they
I-
want as long as it's a cis man.
I am saying that I found one particular trans academic write an academic paper which makes that argument.
Right.
I mean,
you're not
in-
co-signing. You're just presenting
I'm
something you
presenting the
read.
argument as given, which
You're
gave
just
me evidence.
trying to give some facts. Ugh.
In
Yeah.
fairness, based on the amount of TikToks I've seen talking about it, I think it's pretty much okay for anything to happen to cis men, good or bad. So, like, you know,
Sure, why not?
judging
Oh,
by
God.
the comments on my YouTube video that I made about my own being a victim of
Experience?
sexual assault,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, don't
pretty
you
sure,
know
like,
men can't be raped?
yeah, exactly. That was
Hello.
so fun to hear, hundreds of times
Oh, I've heard
after
that
putting
one
this
too.
out.
Yeah,
Yep,
isn't it wonderful?
yeah.
People are magical.
People are great.
People are just peaches.
Except for the people who aren't great. Those people fucking suck.
That's true. If you're not great, you're an asshole. Yeah, what a wonderful world.
Now we're getting really borderliney here. I don't know if I like it.
Oh, what? Where we said rape is bad? We're suddenly on a borderline?
No. You're saying like everyone is super
You're
great
taking the
unless they're
pro-rape?
terrible. No, it's the comment that everyone is super great unless they're terrible, and it's like that's super black and white thinking.
Juniper says only
that's
Yeah, what are you?
deal in absolutes.
Yeah, what are you, a liberal?
Yeah, what are you
No, that's
Why's it got to be black and white thinking, June? Why?
Wait. Let me say it. I think I'm the darkest one here. Why is it got to be black and white, June? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about that?
Are you trying to white leverage all of us right now? I don't call it blackmail anymore. It's called white leveraging. Just so you know, FYI, conceptually change because that's what it really is.
Hilarious.
Thank you. Yeah, I stole that from Clone High, but it's so goddamn good.
You're like, I'm keeping that one.
Yeah, I'm keeping that one. No, the premise to that is Christopher Columbus is going by Topher Bus because he doesn't want to be associated with his clone. And he tries very hard to be a performative male liberal ally, even though he's just a MAGA troll. So
it took me way too long to get what Topher Bus was. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's Topher Bus. So he has a picture of he tricks the Abraham Lincoln clone into making out with this 90-year-old woman. This horny 9-year-old woman who basically rapes him because he is a teenager, right? The kid's only 17. She takes advantage of him because she's teaching sex ed in this class, and her solution is like, "I'll just teach you how to do it. Come on, boys, get on the train." She's like this incredibly old, creepy woman. Well, he takes a picture of it, and he's like, "If you get in my way of my crush of Joan of Arc, I am going to white leverage you." And he's like, "Don't you mean blackmail?" And he's like, "No, that's racist. I would never blackmail somebody. That's a horribly racist thing. I white leverage people all the time, though."
That's funny.
How is that leverage against Lincoln? He was the one that was being taken advantage of.
Well, because there's just a picture of him kissing this old woman. You know what I mean? Like, there's just this picture of him without any context.
Well, that's ageist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something.
The only thing
about a high school.
It's not good to use an old elderly woman in a scheme for raping someone. So
when somebody's being a colonizer piece of shit, I like to say, that's mighty whitey you.
Mighty whitey of you.
That
Oh, you got your mighty
I
whitey
actually
there?
heard that phrase in action as a youth.
Mighty whitey.
But yeah, same.
Oh no, just Mighty White. That's Mighty White of you.
I like
No, that's what I'm
Mighty.
saying.
I like
Mighty
Whitey.
Whitey is funny. But
Yeah, it's got a cute little
Mighty
rhyme
Whitey
to
sound
it.
like, yeah, Mighty Whitey sounds like really durable underwear.
Mighty Whitey.
Hell yeah.
Good.
See, this is
My
another
favorite.
fantastic
a really
marketing
durable
idea.
adult diaper.
Strong,
Mighty Whitey.
Yeah, exactly.
Dare
strong
Mighty
enough for a
Whiteys.
U.S. senator, made for a Klansman.
The only thing I think of whenever I think of Abraham Lincoln is the
That's
whitest
the
kids you
same
know
thing,
sketch.
Dan.
You think of what?
The whitest kids you know sketch,
Oh, yeah.
where Abraham Lincoln is just heckling everyone from his box at
What?
Sports Theater.
What?
Yeah.
What?
You fat motherfucker! You fat piece of shit!
That's why they shot him.
Listen to the girl.
That's exactly, I think, the name of the skit or some shit, Dan.
Calm down.
The
Just
real
calm
reason
down.
they killed Abraham Lincoln or some shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, that's what happened to Abraham Lincoln that night. He was hammered in the butt, and it was too embarrassing for the nation to hear about.
That's it. Okay. All right. That's a thing, I guess.
Why not?
Also, if you've never seen The Whitest Kids You Know, The Grapist, also a great sketch.
That is.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna tie you to
Yes.
the radiator. And
That
grape
is
you
the
for
classic.
Radiator, grape you in the mouth.
I'm gonna grape you for decades. Do you hear the problem? No, he's gonna hit him with grape flavor. That's not what it sounds like he's going to do. You see how that's?
He's like, look, the girl's terrified. Well, she was asking for it. What? She's wearing a purple shirt.
She's wearing a purple shirt. She wants to get graped. No. Oh,
And
fuck.
speaking of grapists,
Donald
the
Trump
upcoming
is back in the
election.
news.
So the pollsters are getting creative. Well, not creative exactly, but they're catching on that like nobody's answering these fucking phone calls. So I've started to get texts.
I answered my pollster phone call.
Well, I have done too, because sometimes I enjoy it, but I get mad when they make me pick one, and I'm like, but none of those answers are right. But yeah, today.
Nobody is here for the glory of the white race. I don't want to answer your poll. You talk like a German, and they're like, "What the fuck did we call? We called the perfect American voter." This is literally the person Joe Biden is trying to reach out to. People, we have her. We've got her now.
I'm lucky that I'm in Illinois, so almost no Republicans, even when I was a registered Republican, no Republicans reach out to me because they know that they're fucked in Illinois.
No.
Like, if it wasn't for Chicago, this state would be red.
But well, that's what I was going to say. I would imagine, like, outside of the Chicago metro, they probably have some.
Outside of the Chicago metro, Illinois may as well just be every other rural part of the country, which is like the same. Like the same can be said for any kind of rural area outside of a
Colorado,
city in the country.
Washington, places that are perceived as quote unquote liberal. They're not.
I mean, I think Farm Tech lives, in a generally conservative area. Am I right, Farm Tech?
I think so.
They're not even listening to me. How dare you?
I just said I think so.
No, but he was saying
Farm Tech.
What the fuck am I supposed to be listening to?
I said you live in a generally more conservative area in Colorado, correct?
Oh, I live in the most conservative area of Colorado.
Pretty much
you're
Alabama.
in Gilbert's district, right?
Yeah.
Dilbert's
district? Current Bobert.
Lauren Boebert.
I heard Dilbert.
Bobo.
Oh, the hand job person.
The hand job queen.
So the questions in my text were, and hey, points for being grammatically correct. For whom do you plan to vote for president in November?
Ralph Wiggum.
And it's got Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Robert Kennedy, other or unsure. Now, I'm not going to tell you what I texted, but what is the correct?
But it was get fucked.
Well, I was going to say that was not one of the options. It's like, where's my option F for fuck you? But now, what is the correct answer? Other or unsure? Because I'm trying to figure out, like, when they get this poll, how they're going to spin it.
Who was this?
So, my understanding, and this is a fairly, like, layman's understanding of this, so please do not take this to the bank. I'm being very specific about that.
Oh, I'm taking
I'm already
it.
ready to go to the bank, though.
Yeah. It is less about what
I'm
you
getting in my
actually
car.
say, and it deals more with the shift in what you say. So they don't actually give a fuck about what you say, who you're voting for. They care more about the differentiation in the data. If you say you're voting for Joe Biden, right, but you say something really weird and off the wall, that's going to register much heavier on data and polling than, like, if you just turned your brain off and you went straight blue, right? Because they're just going to assume that you're just a mega Biden supporter.
Yeah, so
and
I
it's
had a
similar
friend who
thing
did.
with, like, data and red people. They're like, yeah, Trump supporters are just Trump supporters. The point where they're interested is, like, where is the differentiation?
Yeah, I had a friend who was doing polling questions like that. They were hired by a third party, so they weren't they weren't like part of the Republican caucus or the Democratic caucus. But basically, what they were told to do is that whenever they ask the questions, and whenever they get the answer, they're supposed to separate it into a bunch of different categories.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be like for the Republican candidate, for the Democratic candidate, for a third party candidate, and then outside of that, they would get like, okay, did this person change their mind? Have they voted in a different? Have they voted against? Have they voted for a different party in previous elections? Why are they doing so now? So basically, they can go like, if I can sit there and go, you know what, I'm going to vote for Joe Biden, but I was a registered Republican before, so there's that.
Yeah.
They're going to latch on to me
So-
being a registered Republican, and they could spin it and going, registered Republicans are now switching over to Joe Biden. So it really doesn't matter how you answer it, like you said. It literally doesn't matter. So
Right.
really, get fucked is just like probably the best answer. 'Cause
Right,
then
but
they
there
haven't really
was
spin that.
but there was no get fucked option because it was only letters. You had to pick one.
Right, that's why they don't give you the get fucked option, because otherwise you might
Yeah.
give them the get fucked option.
Right. So is that Lost Doc? Like, is that the kind of stuff you were talking about? With where when you see certain polls and they're like, likely Democratic, likely Republican,
Yes.
Yeah.
or leaning. I've always
Yeah.
wondered that. It's like, who
Because they can sit there
identifies
and
themselves as like, well, I'm Republican leaning. Like,
also
nobody says that.
I also was reading up on kind of how they spin a lot of these polls, which is unless the number of people in the poll is specified, that number could be 2 people or 10 people or 30 people.
Oh, your
And
N
if
matters in statistics, baby.
And if 10 people are
My
polled
end certainly
and
does matter.
and
Racism. It's cutting me up.
if 10 people are polled and 6 people say, I'm going to vote for Trump, but I kind of have a feeling Joe Biden has some, I kind of agree with him on certain things. If that is run, if those statistics are read and spun by a Democratic, spin company, I guess, so to speak, then they can take those people who have said they were voting for Trump and just say, well, these people were leaning Joe Biden. Doesn't mean anything. It means absolutely nothing. Which people are freaking out about now. When didn't we learn this lesson back in 2016 that polls mean nothing? They mean absolutely nothing.
Well,
because what were the polls leading up in 2016?
The polls.
It was
the polls for Trump were because a lot of voters don't want to admit that they're racist, essentially, which is slowly normalizing. The polls are off.
See, I disagree with that.
Yeah.
You see, I disagree with that though. I don't think
there's
that people. I don't think that people who vote for Trump
MJP
see
in the
themselves as that, so they won't have a worry about identifying as that.
They did.
Well, you got an asshole.
Nice. They didn't. They did not. That has shifted. The polls are normalizing now. They're about 5 points.
Okay.
Which that's significant because if you say that Biden, like if you say if Trump has a 1-point lead, that means he could have a 6-point lead or he could be down 4 points. Likewise, if you say Biden's trailing by 1 point, Biden could actually be trailing by 6 points. So like when it comes to polling, you have to give it a 5-point swing, and the fact that they're so tight, based on just them having a fail contest, is insane. Like in what's it like? If I go to a Magic the Gathering event, I know I always bring it back to this. I love Magic the Gathering. But if I go to a Magic the Gathering event, I don't spend the entire
nerd.
Thank you. I am. I don't
He
spend
says,
the entire
I say as I look at my cards in their boxes right over there.
Ooh, what format do you play?
I haven't bought any new cards in about 10, 15 years. The last thing I played was oh god, what was it Time Shifters? Time
Spiral.
Time Spiral. There you go.
That is a little old. You might want to sell Tarmogoyf while you get the chance, buddy. You missed your high water mark.
Give me a green sapling deck and I'll destroy everyone. Obviously, if they let me play by the rules that I learned. Anyway, continue, please.
Yes. So I don't go to that contest actively trying to lose the whole time. In American politics is the only time there's a high value, high money contest on the line where it seems like both people are just trying to have a lose off. Like they just try to fail. And realistically, when you're talking about a president who you can label, like the other thing is too is like if I
call that a John Kerry.
Yeah, like this is like a John Kerry. Like I will be honorable versus my opponent who said that I have a black gay lover and a black baby. But you can pin 5 million deaths to him, so you do that, and like. Biden has a layup because he can be like, look, Mac, you voted, like this is what he could do. He's like, look, Mac, you voted for me because I didn't kill 5 million Americans. That was Trump, man. He got 5 million killed. He's murdering people. I've already called me genocide. He purged Americans, man. He's killing Americans left and right. That's terrible. Like, he can go out and do that, and a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, okay, I mean, he's right. So, like, I guess we vote for Biden because clearly you can't have the guy who got everybody killed on his fucking watch out there. But he's too fucking lazy to say it. He's like, Donnie, I'll debate you with an ice cream cone, man. I love ice cream. You ever had ice cream? It's good stuff. I fucking, man, my dad used to put me in his car. He'd be like, watch this, Joe. It's going to go real fast. He'd hit a black person, and then I'd be like, wow, Dad, you maybe should call an ambulance. He's like, call you an ambulance. You say that again to me. Man, my dad was so cool.
You know who liked ice cream?
I wish I could be gay with him.
Bo liked ice cream.
Yeah, man, I love ice cream. Oh man, my dad used to take me out to get ice cream. Where are we? Is my dad here? I'm gonna give me my wife's fingers. I ought to give him a licky lick.
I feel like there's the only problem. Like Biden has this issue right now where if Trump was even the least bit non-egocentric, he would probably be able to wipe the floor with him.
Definitely.
Because I know he doesn't call him
bad news. Well, bad.
But again, though, like race to lose, both people are in the race to actively try to lose and not get the job. That's surreal to me.
How many
Tiki bar Trump Kardashians?
How many moderate Democrats or liberals do you know that are so fed up with Biden and his handling of, the genocide that if Trump were to come out and literally call Joe Biden the responsible for the genocide over there, how many of them do you think would switch and be like, you know what, I don't like anything else about him, but at least he's holding Biden's feet to the fire for that?
Not that.
I feel like it's more.
But
not that many, because he would also be committing the genocide.
Yeah, like
he's not. Well, you're right. You're absolutely right, and that's kind of my point. Is that the people who are like
I honestly think
arguing
you'd have
so
leftists
hard
do it. I think you will have leftists do that. Like they think they're going to 4D chess their way into it, which is a bad decision. you shouldn't vote, right? Well, I can't say that. I'm not voting is how I can phrase that. There are legal reasons I can't say you shouldn't vote, so I'm not gonna. I didn't say that. We'll just scratch it. We'll cut it in post.
Edit it and post.
Edit and post. So, like, because we don't have a good decision, and you have to kind of threaten them. Like, if you're on the left, you have to be threatening these people right now, because otherwise they're just never going to even begin to respect you enough to like be like, what do you want? You know, like if you look at what happened to Biden right now, soberly, we can't have him running a genocide, but he has reneged on his reneging of a promise, right? He's had to do that and start offering more student debt and like legalizing pot and doing all these things, primarily because he's terrified of losing. So now he's like, oh shit, I'm gonna actually have to do something, and it's gonna be low hanging fruit, low bar stuff, but we're gonna be able to keep getting it out of him. And I don't think at this point he can win the left's vote, but there's going to be a subset of leftists who are dumb enough to be like, I better vote for Trump. Because I remember this was a phenomenon in 2016. There are a lot of infantile, like, this is, yeah, you see where I'm going with this, right? There's a lot of infantile leftists who will be like, yeah, we should do that. It's like, no, that's a bad idea.
I don't know how many.
I will say, I was going to say, no matter how much I hated Hillary, I wasn't going to go vote for Trump just to spite her.
Yeah.
And you're right, and I feel the same way. But there were two parties that I like interacted with during that election that were very clearly kind of okay with Trump winning. And that was, and I know the whole Bernie bros ruining the election is overblown and statistically didn't really affect anything. But I interacted with enough of them who acted that way that I wouldn't be surprised if they did that now. Just the amount of people who were like, what? They're not going for my guy? Well, then you know what? I'm going to burn the system down. I don't care who wins now. Matter of fact, I hope Trump wins. But, and then for people, and then Hillary people who didn't want to vote for Hillary, mainly because she's Hillary, we're kind of doing the same thing. It was just like, well, I'm not going to vote for her. Either A, I think she's shrewd, you know, misogynism.
Right.
Misogynism. That's not a word. Misogyny. She's part of the Clinton machine, so she's not going to be any better than, you know, any other kind of regular politician and all the things that she tries to. She's running on the virtue of, don't you want a woman to be in the presidency? Isn't that something you really want? You vote for me then. And then those people were just like, well, yeah, I don't care if Trump wins then. Matter of fact, I might even vote for him because I didn't get my way, so I'm okay with letting it burn.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's happening now.
There was a significant there's a significant portion of that who is going to make the wrong decision. Like, I don't think not voting is the wrong decision, right? I think that actively voting for a Republican is always the wrong decision. I am striving to figure out when that is the right decision. I don't think you ever do that, right? You don't ever do that, but you do strategically.
What if it's those aliens from The Simpsons? Versus
don't blame me.
Republicans.
I'll vote for Canyon Kodos any day.
That's true. Kodos was good on foreign trade.
Mm-hmm.
Considering how many foreign diplomats he ate. So
still not okay to vote for Republicans if the alternative is Kodos.
Yeah.
No, Kodos is great.
For clarification.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I mean I have my own reasons for voting for Kodos.
This
which
is
you know,
pro Kodos household.
This is.
I actually, I believe during one election I posted a lot of that actually, but
the thing that bothers me a lot is people who won't vote for Biden, which fine, that's fine, do whatever you want to do. Yeah. But then they try and throw someone like Jill Stein at me, like she's any better of a candidate simply because she's not Joe Biden. And anytime I ask them, cool, what else does she stand for other than speaking out against, you know, the United States handling of Gaza? And they can give me like one or two bullet points, mainly because they don't quite know exactly what she is. They're just trying to jump on the bandwagon of not, you know, they're superficial supporters of her. They don't actually know her, is kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So they try and throw her at me and in like a way to be like, no, look, there's this option over here. Cool. Tell me about her. What does she believe? What is she about? Tell me. You tell me about her platform. You know? And they can't.
in those people's defense, that's about what most people know about Joe Biden. Because none of us would have predicted that Joe would have doubled down on genocide, right? None of us predicted that. We didn't really know Joe the way we needed to know Joe Biden. Like nobody in the right mind. Because why would you here's the thing. The logical position is to be like, okay, you let him go for like a week and then you tell him to knock it off. You don't just be like, do it more, Mac. Keep going, Mac.
You're kind of right, but also the United States is, support of Israel forever.
We've never done this. Like, we've never gone to
True.
their level. I mean, outside of the initial occupation, which you can be like, oh, see, but like we're talking 70 years ago. Like, we've never been like, yeah, you need to go this hard. Usually we're like, okay, you got what you wanted, time to back it off. Like, you're making us look bad. Stop it.
Yeah, I think I just think that all the kind of, filleting of Netanyahu over my lifetime that he's been in power has made it kind of not much of a surprise. But yeah, you're right. As much as he's like into it, yeah, you're right. It sounds
like you're saying that like we should have been able to read the tea leaves. Right?
Yeah, there's no
to a certain extent, yes.
However,
what? No. Hold on.
Well, all I was going to say against that is that for me, do you support genocide, Y or N? I didn't think that was a thing I was going to have to ask about, like somebody running for office.
Yeah, it
didn't occur to me. It didn't occur to me to be like, oh, by the way, genocide. Are you cool with that? And that's my fault, and I own it.
This is what I want to point out. There's no I'm going to contest that there was no rhyme or reason to think they let it go on this long or this severely. And the reason for that is, like, you look at
that I agree with. Yes.
Yeah.
That I agree with.
To let them, if you were to be like, well, they were obviously going to America was going to let them counterattack, right or wrong, after October 7th. Oh yeah,
mm-hmm.
You'd be stupid to think otherwise, that Israel's going to have, Israel's a genocide, like they're literally modeling themselves after our genocidal, like our active genocide period. No, they were not going to let that stand ungenocided in a counter warfare, right? And they even like kind of admit like, yeah, that's backlash for the last time we did it. So we're just going to do it harder this time to see if we can totally suppress it. But like, usually when this stuff happens, Hamas gets some kind of effective shot in. Then Israel moves in its Nazis. Then the Nazis start doing a purge, and the purge scoops up like 10,000 people, which is horrific. Then America says, okay, you got to settle the fuck down. Then they pass some awful draconian law, that has them like, well, now you got to show us your asshole to be able to get into Israel so we can make sure there's no bombs up your butt, right? And they just add to the humiliation and degradation, which is terrible. I'm not defending it. But usually, like, there is a script to this that has been followed. Like, Ronald Reagan followed this script, and Reagan is the devil. So even the devil was like, hey, man, you got to back it off. You wouldn't just immediately presume, like, Biden was going to be like, I'm worse than literal American Hitler. And, like, it turns out we knew Biden, we knew Trump was going to be that bad. And people are like, you don't know that. Yeah, I do. If you move the capital to Jerusalem, you are trying to kick off a more genocidal conflict. When you say, like, we back Israel unilaterally, which he did, you're trying to kick off a more genocidal conflict. You want them to do it because you hate Muslims that much. That's readily apparent for a guy who has, for decades, hated Muslims, right? So we knew that Trump had it in him to do it. Nobody had on their bingo card that Biden was going to be like, we're going to actively back this genocide and totally run cover for it. To the point of breaking international treaties like the ICC and stuff like that.
Yeah,
nobody.
I fully agree with.
Yeah.
Counterpoint, why not? Why wouldn't we think that?
Because literally the pitch is that he's the law and order candidate. Like, that's part of it. The part of it was that he pitched himself as the entirely, like, I'm the one, Mac, who respects law and order. And
well, that means cops.
But the ICC
not necessarily genocide.
That's like international cops. Like that should be a layup that you want to enforce that. And he was like, I want to do the Iran deal again and get things ordered. So again, like nobody had that on there. We like collectively you want to talk about doing something wrong, right? Not knowing what your candidate's for. Nobody actually paid attention to his record on Israel, which we all knew that he was one who was like, if Israel didn't exist, we would have to forcibly create it. Israel's the greatest thing. But nobody had it like that hard. Like he's also he's not a right-wing Jew, so like why would you have him on it that hard? Like why would you? There's just nothing sensible about it. But for the
he
love
might
of
have
God,
been signaling, but we didn't have any reason to think that he meant it.
he wasn't signaling that he was going to back it out. Like he didn't signal that. That's my point. Like everyone's like, oh, Biden, obviously. And it's not obvious. That's the problem. Like that makes the proposition of voting for him again if he's this erratic. Like if he's coming, like that's the thing. If I were Trump, I'd be look like crazy as he said he'd never do something like this. Look what he's fucking doing because it would be true. Like that would be a true thing to say.
That's what I was saying about like if Trump wanted to and he just wanted to double down and literally just point the finger at the things that Biden's doing.
Yeah.
It would be a very, very bad thing for the Biden campaign. But he's so egocentric that he won't do it. And Biden is sitting there just kind of sitting there going like, well, I mean, he's not going to do it. So like, I don't really have to answer to anyone. Like, yeah, sure, these people are a little pissed at me, but like, who cares? They're hair dyed, pierced, BDSM practicing leftists, so I don't really care. They're not my voter base anyway. They wanted the Jewish guy instead of me. So I don't really care what they want.
My favorite take on it is they're just college kids. They're poorly informed. They don't really know
Bill Maher
what they're
take
protesting about anyway.
Oh yeah.
But isn't that funny though? That these college kids that have more information at their fingertips than ever before are the ones who are ill-informed and don't know what they're talking about, and yet the
people attending our centers of knowledge.
Don't know what they're fucking talking about. If you rewind it 30 years to Bill Maher's college days, or like 50 years, I guess, to Bill Maher's college days, he'd be like,
in Ohio.
We knew what we were protesting about. He would immediately forget it all.
Yeah, like somehow the protesters like, oh, I'm sorry, they're doing a genocide. I thought they were doing a genocide. And no, we don't want people doing genocide, so no. But we had genocide.
I thought there was a side of genes.
Yeah.
Samuel Jackson held the board at his school hostage.
No.
So you've never. Okay, I gotta read this to you then. Okay, let's. I gotta Google it. Hold on.
By the way, real quick, one of my favorite 30 Rock jokes is Jenna Maroney had a lifestyle website that she wanted to promote, and it was jennas-side.com.
That's clever.
That's a good one. It's my girlfriend, Jen Oside. Nobody should be doing my girlfriend. Obviously, I'm going to protest that. Oh, the eradication of Palestinians. Oh, well,
why has there not been an Irish character yet named Genocide?
That sounds like a drag queen name, Jen Oside.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, well, I hate that drag queen genocide, but genocide against the Palestinians, I was totally misinformed. I'm actually for that. So I'm going to get out of this drum circle and go back to my ROTC application. Because I want to go do that. Like, what the fuck, Bill Maher?
You can say ROTC. You can say ROTC.
I didn't know if that was an anti-Italian slur too, like Gabo.
Oh, it is.
In 1969, Jackson and several other students held members of the Morehouse College Board of Trustees, including Martin Luther King Sr., hostage on campus.
Why?
Demanding reform in the school's curriculum and governance.
Based.
Boy, I bet he said motherfucker a lot during that.
Yeah. The first time Samuel L. Jackson heard motherfucker, he's like, I think I can use this in my acting.
I mean, I know I'm real vocal about not wanting to know about my celebrities and performers and whatnot, but like I gotta say, I haven't heard anything about him yet that makes me
That
uncomfortable.
makes you really regret.
Yeah. Like everything I hear is like, oh really?
That's nice.
Oh yay.
Well, I love what he fucking told what he told Leonardo DiCaprio during Django Unchained.
Yeah.
So
Oh, you worried about saying it? Motherfucker, it's Tuesday, do your job.
yeah, exactly. Like
Did you...
like cuz he grew up where they fucking used it like
all the time
against him, and he would like he had to like beat the shit out of people
Yeah.
and stuff, and he's just basically like, dude, it's just a fucking Tuesday for us.
Yeah. Well, did you ever see that interview he did with that one reporter who's like, how
Yep.
comfortable did you feel? And he's like, say the word.
Say it,
yeah.
Say it, motherfucker. Say
what's
it.
Wrong? Just say it. And he's like, no, just say it. No, no, I can't. Why? We'll get kicked off the air. Okay, well, then we're not answering that question till you say the word. Because for me, it's a Tuesday if I hear that word. It don't mean nothing.
Yeah, he was like, if you're gonna ask me what I think about it, you better say it.
Yeah, you better not be a bitch and say
it.
Completely
Think about
like
what?
completely sideways from this topic. Have you guys noticed that like the less quote unquote less attractive TV dads from like the 80s and 90s are like seemingly the more wholesome ones in real life? Like Ed O'Neill, obviously Al Bundy,
Yeah.
I've only ever heard amazing things about him.
Like he's
Like-
never given women cough drops and done a bit about Spanish fly where he admits to several rapes.
Exactly. Same thing with like John Goodman.
Yeah.
John Goodman just seems like a peach of a person.
Yeah.
Wait, what
Bryan
about-
Cranston? Bryan Cranston regularly calls all of the kids from Malcolm in the Middle and checks up on them.
Yeah.
What about our King of Queens though?
That guy, I know, I do know something about him. What he likes to do is he likes to shit in his coat and make his wife wash it. That's his fetish.
Wait, well, here's the
Wow.
thing though. Kevin James wasn't a father
Yeah.
on that show.
I like it.
Pretty sneaky, sis.
Yeah,
So and like
that's what he does. I want you to know that about Kevin James, that he shits in coats and makes his wife wash it. That's his thing. He likes to surprise her. He like tucks them under the other coats.
Juniper, I have to since we brought up this fucking terrible show, I have to make a confession to Juniper.
Yes.
When I first heard her voice, I thought she sounded like Leah Remy.
She does.
That is the single most insulting thing that you could have ever said to me. Just
I'm really sorry.
That's only because June is a Yinzer and not from New York.
Yeah.
I'm not a Yinzer.
No, we're technically
We're
Jake and I are
Yinzers.
Yinzers.
I am
definitely a Yinzer.
Strong mid-Atlantic. WOODER, bitch. Do you drink it?
Wooter.
I have
not
physically
wooter.
thrown
It's
hands.
not woo-der. It's wood-er.
I have physically thrown hands over Heinz ketchup.
Have you really?
That is
I thought
not
you
a
were gonna
joke.
say at Heinz Field.
Yeah. Well, that too, but that's a normal thing. That's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Well, Heinz is
chug it,
statewide
football.
in Pensy.
It's
Heinz
not
is
as brutal,
statewide
but
in
like,
Pensy.
Yeah.
But like, nah.
Well, that's
but
'cause it's
the
the only one that's
Leah
actually
Remini
ketchup.
thing, the Leah Remini thing. That kind of hurts. I'm gonna have to reevaluate my whole fucking life and whether I ever want to speak to anybody again.
I never, for what it's worth, I don't think Leah Remy's voice is the problem with Leah Remy.
Yeah, it's not her voice. Like
not,
that's
the voice
the
isn't
problem
the
with her.
Yeah.
You just
It's a good voice.
I just thought she was hot. Sorry.
I'll take that into consideration as I
as you reassess.
curl up in the fetal position in the corner.
Oh.
Auntie June.
Sorry.
Oh, Auntie June, please don't.
Yeah, don't do that.
No, it's fine. Like, it blows to my ego.
If it makes you feel any better, I get told I look like Winona Ryder all the time.
Okay, but Winona Ryder rocks. Except for this.
Yeah, again. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what's her
Plus,
biggest
she's
crime?
based. She was trying to steal
Shoplifting,
stuff. So, like, yeah,
right?
she's
Yeah.
based, so she was trying to steal from a corporation. It's all good.
Yeah. Taking shit from the government or corporations is always fine. You just don't take them from other people that need them.
Right.
Unless you're Brett Favre and you're stealing from literal poor people, then you know.
Yeah.
That's
Then you did
not
that
okay
thing.
with me.
What?
Brett Favre is bad, actually.
What?
To be fair, the system there does
It's not
allow him
okay
to.
to.
That's the real problem there.
Not okay to steal from literal poor people?
It's the government laundering the theft. Like, that's the issue with Brett Favre. Because if the government would just be like, no, of course you can't steal welfare money for your rich white child. Like, that would have solved that problem.
We shouldn't collaborate with you in stealing money meant to help people into putting it in some dumb project and you taking a huge cut off the top.
Yeah.
Like that should have been a government official's response.
Yeah, the
instead of what happened.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been like, we'll totally enable. Well, the thing was, like, he just did what anybody would do, which is just like, can I have the money? And they were like, you're Brett Favre, you're white and you're rich. Obviously, you can steal from welfare.
You throw football real good. You can have whatever you want.
Yeah.
Because I mean, and yeah, because one of my big tenets is like, I mean, there's no harm in asking, right?
Yeah, that's
like
true.
I've been places that I'm like, nice shoes, can I have them? You know, like,
and they're like, yes, for money.
No. I mean to other
flag.
individuals. Or like, I really like your shirt, and they're like, thanks. Can I have it? And not for nothing, I have been successful in that attempt more than once.
At least one time.
More than once.
Times. Okay.
And yeah, so there's nothing wrong with asking.
Yeah.
But like,
the government shouldn't be involved in it, though, right?
Yeah, they shouldn't be like aiding and abetting. I think that's a thing in law.
They can't aid and abet it because they set the law. They're the ones. Like, the thing is, like, everybody's mad at Brett Favre, but you should be actively mad at the racist government that's like, we absolutely will write a law that lets us do that.
Right, I'm going to be mad at Brett Favre all I want.
Yeah,
because the last thing we want to do is actually give that money to people who need it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's like,
right?
That's the thing. The thing is, like, everyone's like, he stole that money. Like, if you break it down,
steal it.
The government, he asked for money he was not, technically speaking, entitled to. The government, however, passed a law in Alabama that says we can absolutely misuse these funds from the federal government. So yeah, we can totally just do that.
Well, his shit happened in Mississippi.
Was it Mississippi? Whatever.
Yeah.
The point is, like, southern racist
That's where he's
states,
from.
They're all the same.
They are.
If Alabama did it, it would be even more fucked up because he's not even from there.
You know what, though? Honestly, again, doesn't really matter because the point is, like, racist state does racist things, right? I apologize for besmirching.
Shocked.
I can't finish
the great state of Alabama.
Yeah, I can't say that, though. I cannot say the great state of Alabama.
You apologize to a picture of Nick Saban right now.
Yeah.
I was born in Kristi Noem State, okay?
It's
womp womp.
That's another
Alaska?
State. No, that was Sarah Palin.
Nome, Alaska?
No. Man,
no.
which one is her?
Sarah Palin is Alaska. South Dakota is Kristi Noem.
I knew it was one of the Dakota. There really should only be one Dakota. Like, that's just as an aside.
Can we just unite the Dakotas?
The South is superior.
This war has been going long enough.
I mean, at least South Dakota has Wall Drug. What the fuck does North Dakota even have?
I don't know. Like, that's what I mean. It's not a real state. Just
South Dakota attached to it.
Hockey. I hear hockey is big there.
Yeah. University of North Dakota is pretty good at hockey.
Yeah.
They gave didn't they give the Eagles Carson Wentz? So, like, you know, there's that.
But I don't really give a shit about football or. I don't know if you were ever around for my explainers on sports, but the short story is that living in the city of brotherly love and familial violence, I pay attention. I pay attention to Major League Sports in the way that a kid does when they hear their dad's steps coming in. Yeah. Like, I gotta know what's happening with them to know how the rest of the city is going to be feeling and, like, if I'm going to need to avoid fisticuffs.
Yeah, but in fairness, it's Philly. That could either be a win, a loss, an off week, a bye. Like, it's Philly. It just kind of happens no matter what.
That is the
reputation. Philly sucks.
But I do need to know, like, okay, what kinds of, like, car flipping and garbage can fires are going to be happening outside my house?
Yeah, because if it's celebratory car flipping and garage fires, you can pass through it by being like, whoop.
Yeah, I can mind my fucking business. I can mind my fucking business and walk past it and, like, get onto the subway. And there'll probably be people, like, smoking blunts and passing them around. And, like, okay, that's good. But if they had a bad time, if they had
just walk around and say, man, Jalen Hurts, right? That's it. That's all I got to say. And he'll be fine for now.
That's true, though.
No, True's not on right now.
No, he's not. Those two haven't been showing up for work.
What about an extra job?
We're gonna dock their pay.
Wait,
Yeah.
Those two? What two?
Oh, I like where you're going with this. Yeah, they're dead to us.
No, I'm legit asking.
I agree. They're dead.
Which two haven't been showing up to work regularly?
I don't know, because there's only one that I know of. Who's the other one?
Which one do you know
of? LG, my illustrious host who goes by True Horror, sometimes also known as Christopher Gadsden. That's the mysteriously absent from Sons of Trier guy.
Sometimes known as Gay Boobs McGiggins on this show.
Has been known as Gay Boobs McGiggins.
Yes. Who are we getting invaded by? Oh, he showed up to work, see?
I've been here the whole time.
For like an hour.
I've been here the whole time.
No, you haven't.
Yes, he has. He's the one that played the meat wad thing on the... And I said, yay, yay, MJP in the house, or something like that.
I gotta be honest, I didn't even hear it.
He did not play the fucking meat wad thing. That was me. Don't give that asshole that fucking credit.
Whoa, hey, hold on. He was here first.
Dial it back.
He was here first. You be nice. Remember, you're the newbie, so now you got to hire another new guy to be mean to.
Yeah, that's how that works.
That's me.
Yeah,
that's me.
And now you got to hire another.
Shit rolls downhill.
This is like a pyramid scheme, and it's basically to protect against abuse. So the more people you get onto the show, the less I have to talk, which is great. And then also, the less abusive we are because we have somebody to throw it on to. You found the next victim.
I'm just saying, like,
Jesus Christ, are you taking the Steven Crowder route?
No, the Steven Crowder route, I would have showed everybody my wiener by now.
Well,
I'm just saying, I have a humiliation kink. Just bring it.
How do you know I haven't seen it?
But actually,
Dan only shows his wiener to me.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say he only shows it to like guys.
Yeah.
So
like Steven Crowder.
Sweet, I'm in.
Yeah.
Much like Steven Crowder. Yes, exactly.
I buy a lot of.
See, here's the thing. A lot of people don't know about guys on the internet. We just gather around in chat rooms and show our wieners to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell them.
It's just closed circle. It's fine.
So you mean this whole time?
We've all seen it.
This whole time when I have been receiving dick pics, that was really meant to be a welcome into my community thing?
No, that was just sexual harassment.
Oh.
Yeah.
You don't
if by welcome to my community you mean sexual harassment, then yes.
I call my penis community.
It's a good name for it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say this: if you went to high school between 2000 and one in 2004 in Western PA. There's a chance you saw my wiener because I was under the age of 18, and I was like, I'm just gonna show my wiener to everybody whenever I get the chance. It'll be funny, and that was wrong.
Oh, you were one of those guys.
I was definitely a guy who looked
Made
for
you
every
look.
opportunity to be without his pants on. Yeah.
I would
Wienerless.
I would do this thing with my friends where I would.
How do you know I'm not looking in your window right now?
Okay, what's on my computer?
Well, because
all right, let's play that
it's
game.
listen.
It's
listen.
pretty obvious.
You made the test
JAV.
easy. It's obviously Magic the Gathering.
JAV.
Don't help her.
it's JAV and Magic the Gathering. Those are the two things that are on it.
False.
You're playing MTG Arena, aren't you?
I am not. I'm
No.
not Arena. I would play Moto, but I'm not playing Moto during the show.
Oh,
My
God.
God, it works so poorly. I play Vintage and Legacy. I'm old.
I haven't played. I haven't bought any like decks in so long that the last time I went to the store and just like looked at them, I
Vintage
saw
is big.
Commander decks, and I'm like, what is that? Like, oh, I have this whole new thing to learn. Ugh.
Hell, it ruined. I don't play that. I don't do it.
In my
Like 100
closet,
cards now or something.
I am looking at the Magic the Gathering board game that they made.
Terrible.
Yeah, 100%. But it was I bought it from the secondhand store for like $3 or something like that. So I was like, fuck it, why not? Because it's got like little characters and shit in it too. So I mean, like if I wanted to, I could take it apart and do.
Those things are badass for D&D though, because those are like those figures rock. Those are what I wanted to get out of that set. Actually, that's the only reason I wanted it. And then like it was like this is $80, and I was like, nope, not happening.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, well, fuck it, I'll just get it, and it's like $3, right? Like, fuck it, who cares?
$3 for like some cool little guys, and then you can throw the game away.
Yeah, literally though.
Pretty much.
Lost Dog, don't feel bad. All of my knowledge of Magic comes from like circa 1994,
which is awesome.
So, yeah, like
you're playing Magic the way that Garfield intended. That's what I'm hearing.
That's right. Everybody gets decked, and nobody has creatures that can attack. As Garfield intended, attacking.
I did all of my main gaming between like 2002 and 2008, and like thinking about it now, I spent $600 to build one deck, and I think I've used it in a tournament once. I won, but I only used it in a tournament once, and then never played with it again.
I just built High Tide, and that's $1,000.
Jesus.
I used to. I had Legacy Jund at one point. The only thing that kept that deck's price down was it wasn't blue.
Yeah.
Whose dick did you have to suck to get that deck?
Dude, I was just really good at playing Affinity.
Mine.
I didn't want to tell him that part, but yeah.
That's another thing we gathered to do.
I spent about $2,000. I think Affinity would have been about $2,000 in Modern at the time. I spent $2,000 on that.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and I used to stomp the yard with that deck. That deck was autopilot.
Yeah, you just open up your hand and make sure you got enough not lands.
What I got? Oh, look, a Box Opal, an Ornithopter, Arcbound Ravager. All right, let's go ahead and do this. I don't care. I saw the 3 I needed. You're dead.
My $600 deck was a red dragon deck, and I just ran through the tournament I was in. It worked beautifully. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that used to be a thing. That's the only creature. That was one of the 4 creatures that could attack or block profitably. Mahamoti Dejin. Mahamoti Dejin. Sirib Eater.
Yeah, and then...
Wait, isn't a tagine the thing that they like cook like Moroccan stuff in?
This is Dejin.
Yes, that is a tagine, but he said dajine.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
Tajin.
I thought you were talking about Tajin, which is spelled Tagajin. So.
Nope. DJ.
That also delicious.
Which is also their Taco Bell is coming out with Tajin tacos, like Doritos Locos tacos.
If you're white, it's Tajin.
Yes.
Tajin.
I'm gonna stay.
Tajin.
Oh wait, are you talking about the spice
No.
Yeah.
in the jar?
All right.
That's what I was
That
talking
too.
about.
I'm putting it in chat.
Yes!
This guy. This is like one of the few creatures that could attack or block profitably. Also, you guys have not
All right,
commented
Lost
on.
Doc, you get like how to eat points from me. I'm a pay attention a little better now.
Okay.
That should
Also, I
actually,
think you all
to
missed my
me-
Lauren Boebert post in chat, and that was for y'all.
I'll get into it. I'm on phone tonight instead of on the PC. So
That one's
I'm on my phone too.
that's one of my banger 5-second edits.
but
I like it.
okay,
Thank
so LD, how do you pronounce the spicy stuff?
Tahin.
Tahine?
Tahine.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever had Li Heng Moi?
Yes.
Yes.
I feel like it occupies a similar space as far as like flavorings.
Very much so.
Sure.
Honestly, there's like so many of that kind of combination to make that spice like
Yeah,
tahini.
it's like global. It's
Yeah,
a
it is.
global
Everyone has their
thing.
own version of it.
Yeah.
There's one from
maybe.
I think it's Ethiopia that's much more citrusy.
Ooh. Oh, I need to get in on that. I love citrus.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a really good Ethiopian place in Chicago that serves it. That they give like chips to the table before your for your meal, and instead of salt, it's covered in that, and it's so good. Like I love tahine, but I think this stuff is so much better. I'll try and find the name of it for you. But yeah, it's unbelievable. But Taco Bell is doing like a Doritos Locos type taco, but with tahine.
Oh, that's going to be so good.
Okay.
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish I knew where there was a Taco Bell around here instead of like really good Mexican restaurants. Damn.
What a weird thing.
You're being so cruel.
Dude, they have a fucking empanada now, and it's so goddamn good.
Really?
Well, they've had the
The
caramel apple
tapenada?
empanadas forever.
No, this is like a cheesy chicken.
Like a meat one?
Did the mic catch that?
Catch what?
Okay, good. I'm still waiting to be told what's on my computer.
Oh.
It's Jazz and a value vintage.
But you're
Bitch,
wrong.
I don't even know where you live. I'm just fucking with you.
Okay, well, see, there you go. The correct answer is that currently
It's a close up.
are
Oh, I was gonna say
overwhelmingly Europe.
I was gonna say it's a close up shot of Rhea Ripley's butt.
Oh, wait. Well, I would imagine you've got to have a
think?
window open for OBS, right? Right?
I have it open, but it's not prominent. The prominent thing is right now the
Yeah.
fact that the Huns and the Gujaras are conquering all of Europe. So, suck it. Just a casual little suck it.
I really just wish it were Mongols instead of Huns, and that's all I'm going to say.
Fuck the Mongols. Okay, those people do not know how to fight. All right, their special ability is that when they leave their houses, they don't leave
a wide swath of a continent from like the Mediterranean over to like India and China would say that that's not correct.
Well, my racist wargaming says it's the Huns that are the badasses. So I tend to believe it over a little thing called history.
Let's get down to business.
To defeat. The Chinese are also bad. For the record, the Chikono unique unit is a fucking murderer. That you unleash 60 of those on a populace, and I'm telling you right now, that shit is dead. I use them to
say the Chicanos are a playable race.
Chiconos.
I was gonna say I'm Chicano, so like
Technically speaking,
that's what I say.
Technically speaking, they're also badass.
Orale Holmes.
They are.
Orale.
Do you know if you're Aztec, Incan, or Mayan, or is it one of the other 90,000 civilizations that we've just kind of been like, I guess they were here?
Honestly, I don't know if I've ever said it here. I know exactly where my people are from.
Good.
They are from a group called I think I might have mentioned around here. They're from the umbrella term. The umbrella term for the tribe is the Chichimecas. The more specific tribe and group is the Guamares. They were nomadic peoples from northern Mexico and basically southern Texas, kind of that big, massive area right there. And also, they were the only group, the only tribal nation to fend off the Spanish whenever they started coming out.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Dope
I
as
figured that
fuck.
out. I figured I learned all that from my family for about 2 years ago, and I've been kind of doing more of a deep dive.
Oh,
And
hell yeah.
because of that, I'd say I think June, you may have heard this on mindful wellness, but the word Chicano is a term for Mexican American. Was derogatory, but now it's kind of been taken back. I tend to identify myself as a Mexican American and indigenous person as Chicanx, which is XICK. Wait, XICANX, and the X's are based in the Nahuatl language that the indigenous people would have been speaking.
I
And
remember.
it also includes the gender inclusive X at the end, which is much more pronounceable and makes more sense for the language than Latinx, because there's a lot of
Right.
Latin folks who think Latinx is dumb because it doesn't make sense with our language.
And I
have mixed
remember
feelings about it.
I remember you bringing that up because that was when I brought up David Bowles.
Yes.
So dope.
Yeah. So yeah, I know exactly kind of what peoples that come from. I'll show I'll post a video of the modern recreations in the area that I'm from in Mexico.
Yeah, do get
in the chat.
Jank, you wish to weigh in on the term?
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about the term Latinx for exactly the reasons described. It's just like X is not a portion, despite what my name might have you to believe. X is not a common, I don't know what the terminology is, ender for the language. It's just not. I don't know.
I thought it was
I
just
feel like
supposed
there
to
are
be a placeholder. Like, rather than using O or just X,
It is like
people who don't want to specify male or female can use
but that's
X
not
in the gender category.
That works.
But it was
not what
ported.
they would do
It
in
was
Spanish.
ported over. Exactly. That's
From
the thing.
English.
It was like it was ported over from people that.
Let's be real about it. It was forced upon them by whites who wanted to sound progressive.
Well, okay, that's what I was
Yeah.
trying to kind of say, but didn't want to come out and say.
It was also kind of pushed by the intellectual community, the academic community, and the working class folk didn't really get a say in it,
So
which I know
something
is
that
a weird thing to say for language.
Yeah, so it was something that would mainly appear in print, not be pronounced. Kind of
said.
It's
at all.
It's like 100% of academics, and that represents 3% of the population.
Let's make up a term and then scold anybody that doesn't use it.
LD, do you have any strong feelings about the word Latinx?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay. I do. I don't like it more than anything. I understand what it was trying to achieve. I just don't think it worked for those reasons that we just talked about. I think it kind of being a mostly American, a mostly English-speaking rule attached to creation attached to a people not just from Mexico, because it's not just Mexican folk that are have it pushed upon them, but it's just not. It didn't grow naturally. which I think is one of my biggest problems. It didn't just happen. Whereas like the Chicanx thing, sure, it didn't just happen naturally, but it's taking these influences from native language and a actual, identifier in Chicano that was born naturally, which comes from Mexica, which is the indigenous name for Mexico. That it makes more sense to me than Latinx, because again, mostly academic, most possibly white people, mostly second and third, and further generation born American Mexicans.
The kind of people
So,
who, if they will do it for you, they will do it to you.
So
one of my friends. Sorry, real quick. One of my friends said that Latinx is a word created and pushed by people who would name their kids Kyler and Kaylee.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of certain people that I deal with, say, through email, will use the word folks.
FLX.
Right? But I notice I pronounce it a little differently. If I'm saying folks, FOLKS, that's a word. Folks, FOLX. Why the X?
Yeah, it's already an inclusive word.
Right. It's like it's a little too try hard, and every time I see it, I'm just like
that one's pretty stupid. That one's
that one grinds my gears. I'm sorry, I refuse to use it.
MJ,
Practice, how about you?
Go ahead.
You had Dreyfus. You had a point that you were going to make about Latinx.
Oh yeah. So my background here is I am a first generation American. My father's a Guatemalan. So like, it falls pretty in line with yours there. It's just like, I understand that it's coming from a place that is generally positive. I don't think it was well executed, and I don't utilize it myself. Like, I don't know if a better, because my background isn't indigenous in that sense. So I don't have that connection to the like the indigenous language, but the Spanish language for sure. And I don't know of like a better way to do it. I feel like my siblings have much stronger ties to it. Of course, I'm in the middle of Western Pennsylvania, so my capacity to speak with Spanish speakers is always clutch. Not well exercised. Let's go with that.
I lived in Williamsburg, Virginia for a while, so I get you.
Yeah, my sister's in dead center of LA, so like she gets to speak a lot of Spanish. Might have a different opinion on the matter, but I don't know.
Would you be willing to ask them about it? I'd like,
for my own
knowledge. Yeah, I'd like to know what they feel about it.
I will ask both of them. I have one sibling that is a non-binary, living in the Seattle region. So I'm very curious as to what they think about it. And my suspicion is that my sister will fall very similar in the line of like, it's not really a term that Latinos or Latinas would use. So like, I'll find out. I'll happily ask.
So then, how do you identify yourself? Obviously, you would probably prefer to say I'm Guatemalan. Okay, Latino. Okay.
Yeah, if they want, I can't even really say Guatemalan around here, because if you say Guatemalan in Western Pennsylvania, all you get is, where the fuck's that? Is that in Guam?
Just say Mexican. That's all they know.
Yeah, that Mexican. That's not a.
Well, Crowley, what part of Mexico's that?
Yeah. One of my favorites is whenever I tell people my name over the phone, and they're like, "Oh yeah, your English is really good."
Thank you.
Yeah, motherfucker.
You're so well spoken.
What are you trying to say?
I grew up in Western Pennsylvania, and I studied English. Like,
yeah, I hope it is. Otherwise,
I should hope so. Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah.
You fought
I
your
don't know.
genes to make sure that your English was really good.
Yeah.
Right?
Nicely done,
Yeah.
sir.
The one I wanted to ask Michael Jordan Peterson, how do you feel about blacks? BLAX. How do you feel about that one? Because I've seen that one before. And, like, I'm not joking. Like, I saw it.
I've seen that one too.
Yeah, I've seen
No,
it.
you're
Oh my
totally
God.
joking.
I
There's
thought
no
you were
way.
joking.
You don't want to go there?
There's no way you're not joking. It
Wait.
sounds like a soda that you put the X on the end to sound more strange.
Okay.
It sounds like an Axe body spray like scent.
Blacks. I don't.
Like you were gonna end it in CS and you just put a dash IX.
Sounds like an R&B group from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like they
We
toured
should
with
bring
112 and Next.
we should bring back Dracar Noir, but
Sounds like
call it
No.
something
blacks
stupid
with an
liberals
X
would.
and see what happens.
We should bring back Pinot Noir.
It
I'm
sounds
always
like
down for
something
that.
Yeah.
stupid liberals would say, like when they're racist, trying to like hide that they're being racist.
Yep, sounds about right.
Which actually brings us around to an important point when we're talking about people from traditionally Spanish speaking regions, because there's that whole thing whenever you fill out a federal form, because there's like the whole race thing, which is what we're talking about with Latinx or what have you. But then they're like Hispanic or non. And what I discovered is that that's a separate designator for, are you from a place where they primarily speak Spanish? Now, I guess. And like, if I wanted to game the system, I do have
Padre.
I don't
I
recommend.
do have some heritage. Like,
Mickey,
okay, the earliest ancestor that I know of in these here United States came from what is now the Dominican Republic. Okay? He was a fucking French speaker. His family were like slaveholders. But technically, if I wanted to ride that line, I could check that box. I don't, clearly. For the same reasons my Egyptian friends in college, I was like, well, why don't you say you're African American? She's like, I'm not black. I'm like, I know, but that's not what it's asking you. You were literally like born in Africa, Northern Africa to be sure. But Africa, you're an American citizen. Therefore, to me, you're African American. Check that shit off. And she's like, no.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, personally, like, I think they're doing it right, because, like, I don't really want South Africans being like, I'm an African American. At least, like,
I was gonna say, you don't
But
want
the thing
Charlize
is, they
Theron
could
identify as African American.
They could.
There's a
because
reason
of
they went
these
back to
arbitrary, because of these arbitrary fucking categories that they want to sort everyone into.
All right, then check it, June. Go ahead. You check African American the next time.
Oh,
Did
no,
we
no,
not
well,
come
no,
all?
I can't.
Did we
I
not
can't
all
claim
come out
that.
of Africa? Are
Right.
we not all from the motherland?
According
Come on,
to
June.
genetics, I am.
I'm going full.
I am 0.01% like Bengali.
Well,
sounds like you should be checking African American, June. Do it.
I'm not gonna start walking around like wearing a
Say it,
salwar
motherfucker.
kameez all the time.
Yeah.
And like, insisting on being an Asian American. Like, No.
No, you just tell them you're a Moorish sovereign citizen.
Mm-hmm. A sneaky Moor, Trump, Sarkar.
Nice callback.
And that's how you do a callback.
Nicely done, sir.
I've acted once or twice in my life.
All right.
It
is.
Porn doesn't count.
Hey, if you ever want to get the worst opinions on the fucking internet, post something on Reddit.
Mm-hmm. That's just true.
I
don't know. These days, I think Twitter could give you a run for your money.
Mm-hmm.
I would get into so many arguments with people online because I would say that Tumblr people are just as bad as Reddit people.
They are.
Oh, Tumblr people
in
are
a different
miserable.
font.
They
But
are in a different font.
I would get pushback saying like, no, Tumblr is like a safe space for like, the queer community and women. And like, yes, you're right. It absolutely is. They're still fucking weird and can be extremely toxic. I've been at the bowels of Tumblr. I know. I've seen it. I've experienced it. I was on 4chan in the early 2000s.
Thank you for your service.
Tumblr's fucked up. Dude, like Tumblr is a place where you can just go to see horse dick anytime you want. Is all I'm saying. Like, you don't want to be on Tumblr.
It's like, oh, cool.
Hey,
I'm gonna look at the Doctor Who, hashtag, and look at some cool Doctor Who art. Oh, cool. There's Doctor Who getting banged by the TARDIS.
Mm-hmm.
Great, in like vivid artistic detail.
The veins on that.
Cool. Right? No, it's ridiculous.
No, that's what I mean. Like, when people are like, Tumblr's less toxic than Reddit. Like, here's the thing: if I make the joke, I'm gay with my dad, or conservatives are gay with my dad.
Real quick though, I gotta get it in. When the TARDIS is fucking Doctor Who, it's bigger on the inside.
Yeah. All right. That was good. That was
Go ahead now, Dan.
Giving you that one. No, like if you do that on Twitter, if I'm like I'm gay with my dad, the most that'll happen to me is that Suki's mom will be like, "That's homophobic," because she's like, "You can't say that it's bad to have sex with your dad," which is like fucked up, right? That's fucked up. That's a fucked up way of thinking about gay people, is that they actually have sex with their dads and not an insult to conservatives and their bizarre Freudian fucking problems. Okay, so you'll get that, right? You'll get that. You go to Tumblr, you're going to find people doing a lot of fan art about being gay with their own dads. But you go to Reddit though, and you're going to have like a lot of horror stories about incest, but the twist is always that they did it to their dad.
Oh God.
Like, that's how I rate it. And so like when people are like Tumblr's less toxic than Reddit, I'm with you. I agree. It's still fucked up, and don't go there.
I remember being on 4chan in the early days, and I remember seeing the tides like starting to turn and realizing like, oh, I gotta get the hell out of this place.
Yeah.
But eventually, it was just one of those things. Something completely innocuous would end up in either porn, just hardcore hate speech,
or Rule 34.
Exactly, hardcore hate speech, or like someone just like spam posting like a car crash victim's a body or something like that, and I'm just like, oh, this is. I have to get out of this place fast.
While I respect your time in the 4chan mines, I'ma just throw out there that I was on Usenet.
Wow.
You just ran something awful.
Wow.
So
that is pretty bad.
Anything terrible that could, like, you had to download porn in parts. Like, these were very dedicated motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah.
You would have to put together a bunch of pieces to see what the disgusting thing was.
I never did that, for the record. I just want you to know, like, I never did that. It's getting hot in here, isn't it? Like, maybe.
There were lovely, honestly, one of the things I kind of like about like the devolving of these like dumb social media apps and sites is that, okay, like speaking from my personal experience, I don't fuck with Twitter the same way that I used to. Like, I rarely go onto my main, like, following thing and scroll,
Oh,
like
I
I
know you
used
don't, because
to.
it'll take you days to respond to my DMs, but that's okay. It doesn't
Right.
hurt my feelings at all.
But here's the thing. The group DMs, are the closest thing that I have experienced to those old days of Usenet in forever. And I kind of hope, and Discord also.
Which chord?
Like Discord, the
A
platform we're currently
minor.
using. But these kinds of things that, like, we're sort of like, oh, the social media sites are crap. Like, let's, like, when I first started
Let's
thinking
create
about
PHPV
divorce,
forums
I was
again.
still when I first started thinking about divorce, I was still using MySpace. Like, as I've said before, I'm ageless. You know, terrible, godlike things that appear from under the water and whatnot.
Under the water. Under the water.
Water.
WOODER. Oh, dude,
Poconos.
the Schuylkill
Poconos.
and the fucking Delaware River and Bay.
Schuylkill, yep.
Oh God, it
Schuylkill
spawns
County.
unimaginable. It spawns unimaginable horrors, and of which I am
Look
one.
here.
I
have a particular set of skills. I'm gonna
exactly.
drag your ass down to Schuylkill and drown you in the river.
And be gay with my dad.
I'll be gay.
Drowned you.
I will
that
drown you.
that is Yinzer. But
I would drown
back
you
to my
in the Schuylkill. Then your father will be mine. Or you can pay me the $5 you owe me.
I want my $2. But
to
seriously, the devolving of all the social media sites and people clustering to places like hanging out in the DMs or go into Discord or like doing whatever they're doing. Like, it does kind of make me happy.
Well, it like you said, it's devolving. It's like now it's going back to like, oh, forums. And like people are releasing newsletters again. Like actual newsletter to your email inbox.
We had Molly Mary O'Brien on, and she's like, "Oh, I'm starting a music blog. And if you want to write for it, I'll pay you." And so she has a website that you go to.
Who is this now, and how do I get in touch with her?
Oh, she was one of the guests we had a couple months back. I'll put her in the thing here. But yeah, like, I mean, it's kind of like that return meme, but like for reals. And to me, it's delightful.
It is pretty good.
God, I'm just thinking of all the websites that would be like 50-50 websites, where like it would just be like a white page with text, like image or video, or usually image because it was the early 2000s. Image links in like a sitemap form, and you just go through and you have a 50-50 shot. It's either something cool or really bad. And I remember being like 12 years old, seeing very, very bad things.
They're doing it now, but I'll tell you what, the one thing that shocks me about kids is not that they're doing that, it's just how shocked they are that you also do it as like an adult. They're like, "Wait, you did what now?" And you're like, "Yeah, that's right. It was fucking Vietnam." That shit.
Like, cool. This file could either be like boobs or like a cool, I don't know, Unreal design, or a cool car, or it could be like a dude getting beheaded, or someone being
revenge porn
post-suicide. Like, yeah, it's like, or just like a turd in a toilet.
Yeah,
that happens so often.
Oh yeah, people love that one. I'll
steakandcheese.com, that was the one I was thinking of.
I will say this. This is my most controversial opinion. So if you looked at pornography on the internet back in
Never heard of it.
Right, in the late 90s to early 2000s, the exorbitant amount of
I would never.
The exorbitant amount of futa content is unreal. And I honestly believe when people talk about a quote unquote gender and trans epidemic, I put the responsibility of that squarely on all the futa porn that people grew up with, because like there was no way to express it other than futa, and then people were like suddenly like, you know what, I might not be like, you know what I mean? So like I feel like I don't
Can
know.
you
If
explain to me what futa means? Because I'm not sure I'm familiar with that term.
The crude term is dick girl.
So somebody that likes to fuck.
No, girl with a
No.
dick.
No.
You ever hear the term?
Girl with
you ever hear
a
the
dick.
Futa.
Yeah, like chicks with dicks.
Like ladyboy.
Kind of.
Chicks with dicks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different.
The amount of content that was. That's also why. See, I don't want to finish that opinion because people think people will think there's a correlation, and I think they're correlated because they were in the same medium, right? But I don't think it's causal, i.e., that one causes the other. I think that the expressions of sexuality and gender are driven by that a lot, because I think there's a lot of people who wouldn't admit it, but they were really into them dick girls. But the problem is a lot of those dick girls were Sailor Moon characters, and we have one thing that's at worst.
Aren't they teenagers?
Yes, they are young teenage girls. They are very young teenage girls. We're talking like early teens. So I think you know where I'm going with
they're
this.
so tall.
Only one of them was tall. Actually, the rest of them were short.
Yeah.
Which is also, I tend to put the blame on these things. If there is blame to be put on the one, which I'm suspect, but I tend to put it all on that. Because I don't think if a lot of academics weren't looking at futa, we wouldn't have a whole lot more language to express these thoughts and a lot more opening for it. Because you remember, like up until then, the only word we had for that was remotely positive was the T slur. You're not really supposed to say it anymore, but at the time that was the positive term before you just used the F slur.
Well, no, I
mean,
I think that the slur is the one that ends in NY.
It really wasn't back then, though. That's a word that has been.
But here's the thing: like back when I was, let's say, very very interested
in futa, right? Interested in.
No.
Yeah, chicks, we got you. We understand you, Jim.
We all were on the internet then. It's fine. Like there's no need to be.
No, but this wasn't the internet though. When I was very interested in, let's say, like gender expression, you know, like I'd be up in the stacks in college, like finding these like biographies or autobiographies of folks, and the accepted term at that time was transsexual. Not transgender at the time.
There used to be a different term for black folks too, and that doesn't necessarily make it acceptable.
No, but I'm talking about one being claimed by the people that were experiencing it.
Oh, that term was claimed by the people experiencing it too. Don't you worry. We had this whole conversation where it's just a Tuesday for someone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, but that's reclaimed.
Well, you know,
that's something used as a slur that somebody has decided you know, it's different. Like, but I'm saying, like, back in those days, the term that people who were gender transitioning were used, like, go back to who's that, Renee, whoever, or Wendy Carlos. Wendy Carlos.
I'm gonna throw this out. I'm pretty sure, and again, I don't know, I'm not trans, but I'm pretty sure the term transitions over because they have the uncoupling of sex and gender, so that's why they picked probably the more accurate is transgender instead of transsexual,
right?
Which
but
kind
that's
loses
what
meaning
I'm
if you don't have
saying.
those concepts as tightly paired.
Back in the day, folks didn't have the vocabulary that we have now.
True, but also, like, you could hear RuPaul pretty casually using that word tranny, pretty comfortably being okay if you didn't put a lot of heat on that word with it. And like, I feel like that's
What?
less true
RuPaul?
for the
You're
N-word.
crazy.
Well, that RuPaul also gets a lot of shit these days, but I don't. I don't.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that.
Can I finish my train of thought with this whole thing? I think in the early days, especially, there was so from people who were outside looking in, I think there was and continues to be a lot of confusion between people who experience gender dysphoria with their sex assigned at birth and as we both termed it earlier, the chicks with dicks porn thing. And I think that that's where a lot of TERFs get hung up right now, because they're, the whole autogonophilia thing. Like, to me, someone who's trans, like, isn't walking around all day aroused by the idea that they're presenting as a different gender. Like, it's a completely different thing, but the TERFs think that that's their thing because of chicks with dicks porn.
That's possible.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, actually that does. Okay, I'll give you that one too. That's plausible.
They're conflating the two things.
Well, they do make that argument a lot too. They do make that argument a lot.
Because like you'll run into TERFs who are like AGP, and it's like, what? And it's not, like, most people's lives are not about their sex lives. It's as reductive as saying, like, oh, every, like, gay man feels this, that, and the other. Every lesbian feels this, that, and the other. Like, it's reductive to, like, their sexual preferences in a way that's ridiculous, because the way that you choose to get off is the least interesting thing about you. It's the least meaningful thing about you. You're a whole human being other than that.
I watched that I watched a lot of content from Ashley Frawley, which she goes in with this. I'm not even sure what to say for the sake of arguing. I am gonna say man, which you could argue I'm misgendering. I think I'm not, though. And I think they're just a classic cross-dresser. I am not sure, because that person came on to their arguments like, I was transitioning, but now I'm not. I am an autogonophilic. I'm just attracted to my own body. And they're like talking about it, and I was like, how many, like, with the rampant rates of depression and like the severe, like, the thing that, like, The thing that mirrors like, this will sound terrible. I don't know how to say this sometimes, and I am tired, so I apologize for the crudeness in it, right? But there's like this female performance thing that women will do, especially when they have low self-esteem. It's the internet pictures. It's where they want to drive the attention because it's very easy to farm male attention from that and capture the male gaze and do it, right? So it's an easy source of it. It's not even about being attractive to males. It's about just simply getting ideally the positive feedback. Right, there's a lot of trans people who go through that too because they need to feel affirmed and they need to try to make up that emotional deficit caused by a society that wants them to die for the most part. So this autogynephilic person who this is the claim they're making, by the way, that they're autogynephilic, i.e. they're only sexually attracted to their own body, or that they want their body to mirror what they're sexually attracted to, which I don't even I can't understand the level of narcissism in that. Like, I just can't, right? So like I can't believe that the mass of trans people are so into themselves and so narcissistic to that poisonous level that they're willing to be like, I need to pay for an unnecessary surgery to make my crotch look the way I want because I'm only attracted to me, but I'm also not attracted to me because I need to have a vagina to be attracted to me, or I need to have a penis to be attracted to me, but I'm only attracted to me, so this is what I have to do, right? That it's this gigantic fucking
I'm willing to upheave my whole lifestyle
and risk
because
death.
I get off
Yeah.
on thinking of myself as a woman when I'm in a sexual situation.
No, in a masturbatory situation, not even like in a social sense, but in a purely masturbatory sense. Like, listen to that out loud and tell me if that makes any sense. And like, this is the one thing, because again, like other stuff from Dr. Frowley, I just love. I love her commentary and insight. But when I heard this and she's nodding along, like, that's a really good point. And I'm like, no, it's fucking not. Who risks death for wanking it? The number of people who risk death for wanking it are smaller than the entire trans population. And that's out of 7 billion people is smaller than the entire trans population. I guarantee you most of them, to like above 90%, are not so narcissistic and disgusting that they go through unnecessary surgeries and risk day-to-day death because once in a while they feel up to tugging it. Like, do you hear yourselves? You're like say it out loud. Like, the most transphobic shit I have ever heard in my life. And I'm like, why in the I understand. I really do get wanting to quit. God knows I have said some shit in my time. God knows on this show I've said some shit. Hell, within the past 4 weeks I have said some shit. Are we really supposed to buy that one as a line of argumentation that prima facie fits the bill for sincere critique or sincere alternative explanation or what the fuck ever? Am I really supposed to buy that? Like, come the fuck on. For fucking real. Like, who the fuck does that? Like, that is just literally trans people are mentally ill with so many extra fucking steps. When the words were right, if you wanted to be that hateful, the words were right there. It would have saved everybody time. I can't even fucking begin to fathom this in my head. And I understand there's nothing that I have said that is grounded in hard science. There's nothing I've said that is grounded in hard sociological analysis. However, just the bullshit detector alone, you're going to make that claim and then like you're backing it up is like, well, I'm that way. The most anecdotal evidence I've ever fucking heard in my life. Which sounds to me like you needed to take a bunch of extra fucking steps just because you wanted to justify cross-dressing and not get murdered. Which kind of proves that's probably not true. If that's what you had to do, you don't think other people are having that subjective life experience right now? You fucking, okay, all right. Gonna move on that. But that's the thing. Like, I'm hearing that shit and I'm like, you're telling me that's the case, huh? That's the explanation for it. And they're like, I don't know why they dropped this line of inquiry. I would have, because it sounds fucking stupid. That sounds like a waste of money.
Right. And just because, like, you're a fucking freaky outlier doesn't, like, take away from a large number of people who have a different experience, and it's not about them getting off thinking about being a ladyboy. Like, it's not
even that though.
How
Like,
do you even
that's
get
how crazy
to
the
be
statement is. Think about the statement
Right.
though. It's that I have to be a woman because I have to be able to look in the mirror and jerk off to myself with my lack of the sexual organs required to do the jacking off. Like, think about how complexly stupid that is. Nobody but a schizophrenic would do that. So to make the claim, you kind of have to make the claim that all trans people are schizophrenic. And then people are like, well, I don't see how
And
that's
isn't that
hateful.
what they did with? I mean,
This is what they do
before
with a
the
lot of people.
DSM-3,
That's what they did with a lot of people.
homosexuality was
Mhm.
classified as a fucking mental illness.
Just gonna say,
And
like, I'm AFAB. If I like want to have sex with another woman, is it because I secretly want to fuck myself?
That's the argument being made. That's what I'm saying. And like, again, I know I say some shit, but I try to give it some sort of argument instead of just like trans people are so schizophrenic that that they want to envision themselves in the third person so they can masturbate to themselves in their male
I take
persona.
exception to the term schizophrenic, but like, let's use mentally ill.
I'm using
maybe.
schizophrenic on purpose because the severe break from reality for that to be true has to be some sort of higher fucking order problem.
It always fell in the thing under fetishes. Sorry, they call them paraphilias.
Yeah, they call it paraphilia.
In
and it's bullshit because what it would have to be is you'd have to be so disassociated and delusional that you can envision yourself in a male body jerking off to your own female body through your own eyes while you look down. So you have to be able to simultaneously hold the images in your head that the dick is there and it's not there, and that the vagina is there and it's not there. Like, when you start talking and when you start working it through, like, it is a severe delusional disorder, and I tend to shorthand those all with schizophrenia because, like, unchecked, I refuse to take my medicine, schizophrenia. Yeah, you might think that. I don't know. Maybe you will. It's more plausible than that's how trans people just are.
Yes.
It's far more plausible. So, like, again, I'm giving them too much credit. That they're like, these are people who are otherwise normal that I can sit down and play, like, have a sandwich with. Like, that during a conversation with a trans person, this is what's
they can
happen.
have jobs. They can pay their rent.
Yeah.
They can take the garbage out. But, however, they can't think of themselves as other than their actual, like, their physical gender to get off. Right?
Which also
like,
doesn't explain why they would seek out sexual partners.
How absurd is that? Who would go through?
And like, people would be like,
do that to themselves?
No, but then the argument is like, people don't pick their sexuality. Like, they do to some degree, though. They do. Environment influences it to some degree. I argue a lot more than people want to let on to. I think people like to say it's genetic for reasons instead of conditioning, but like, a lot. Okay, I think it's a lot. But at the very least, it's a little bit. Because I'll tell you what, like, if you want the best example of that, when you're like in high school or whatever, and you're first having sexual feelings, you're going to have those sexual feelings for something or somebody you've experienced in your environment. That's what's going to happen. Ideally, that is something healthy that arouses those feelings. We pray, but it might not be, right? And that's where you set down a lifelong path of problems if you do not veer away from that.
I would take exception to that because folks I've known who are gay knew it really early.
That's different, though, isn't it? That's knowing where your attractions are going to lie. What you do with those attractions and how you express them eventually is still conditioning. That's the same thing for heteronormativity because it's on an equal footing.
Okay, I'll accept.
Yeah, where those feelings get aroused are influenced by the environment, even if those feelings are at the core something genetic, which I'm not going to argue that they aren't genetic, because by that same token, I was pretty confident in my heterosexuality from very early on. So clearly, that's something that can hold true then for somebody who's gay. But what I am
Right.
saying
And
is
so
where I
there's
focus that energy is a large part environmental because I have to figure out what in my environment I want to rub my wiener on.
right. And so let's
Mm.
say that you discover early on that your interests involve, you know, the same sex or gender or what have you. Depending on your environment, the way that you might express yourself is different. For instance, if you're a dude, and you find yourself from an early age attracted to other dudes, but you pick up from context clues that that's undesirable, well, then you're gonna fuck women, but you're gonna treat them like shit.
More
You know,
neglectful.
like,
The merciful will always be more neglectful than they will be
well,
abusive.
yeah, but then there are some that it's like, I hate that I have to have sex with you.
Right.
And they
My
really
dad
like
is
put the stank
single.
on it.
My dumb bitch mom divorced my dad and he's single, and now because I gotta do you, I can't do my dad.